Today, we're going to be talking about passion. Have you ever worked for or with a passionate leader? If you have, you know it's extremely refreshing. There's just something about working alongside a passionate leader. So we're going to be talking about what passion looks like in the life of a leader. Often though, a misconception that people make when it comes to passion is that passion equals this outgoing, life of the party type personality. Although that can be passion, but it's only one form. And so sometimes people think, well, I might be an introvert, I might be a little bit more, quiet, I'm not outgoing, I'm not, loud and boisterous, and that isn't passion. Okay, it could be a part of it, but just because you're, quiet or an introvert or, a little subdued, and that does not mean that you cannot be a passionate leader. So we're going to look at 12 traits that distinguish passionate leaders from the rest. So number one, passionate leaders rise above naysayers. Okay, and we all know there's going to be naysayers in your life. There's going to be naysayers that come along that say, hey, you can't do this, you're not going to hit these benchmarks. And so, but passionate leaders are able to rise above that. They seek solutions rather than they seek solutions rather than problems. Okay, what they also do is critique instead of criticize. All right, and they look for good in every situation. It's so easy for leaders to find problems, pick out what shouldn't be, find mistakes, find problems. I'm not saying everyone can do that, but most leaders are able to pick out the problems, pick out what doesn't belong. But true leaders, great leaders, to take your leadership to the next level, what you need to do is not just find problems, but find solutions. And passionate leaders are great at finding solutions. All right, there's always going to be someone that's going to come along and say you can't, you shouldn't. But passionate leaders are able to rise above the noise. And there's going to be times in your life and leadership, there's going to be noise around you. There's going to be naysayers. There's going to be problems. There's going to be storms. There's going to be things that are going to come along in your business, in your corporation. But passionate leaders are able to rise above it. Number two, passionate leaders have a profound understanding of people. They're open-minded, they appreciate differences and respect the divergent opinions, because there's always going to be different opinions, right? And passionate leaders are able to appreciate these differences. Good leaders can read people, maybe even anticipate people. But great leaders, passionate leaders, they understand people. And there's a big difference. There's something to be said being able to read people. It's a good trait to have, even to anticipate people and decisions that they're going to make. But to be able to understand people, if you can understand where someone is coming from, what they've been through, why they act a certain way, and make decisions in a certain way. And if you can really understand where people are coming from, it's only going to elevate your leadership. It's only going to take you to that next level. And passionate leaders have this ability to really understand people. Because when you understand people, you can lead them so much more efficiently. That's what we want to do. As leaders, we want to lead people efficiently. And this takes time by getting to know your team. You're not going to understand people if you don't get to know them. And help you understand them is, we talked about last week, right? We talked about relational leadership, and I would encourage you to go watch last week's episode if you haven't. And we talked about relational leadership, and this relational leadership kind of also, spills over into passionate leadership and understanding people. When you understand them, to understand them, you have to get to know them. So number three, passionate leaders are outstanding communicators. Again, you don't have to be a loud, boisterous, over the top, life of the party to be a good communicator. Okay, communication is not a volume level, and it's not all eyes on me, look at me when it comes to leadership. But passionate leaders are very, very good communicators. They listen with intent to genuinely understand rather than to just advance their own agenda. Okay. Again, a good leader can communicate well, but great leaders they're outstanding communicators in the way they communicate with their teams, with the people under them, with their bosses above them. They can really rally people around a project or an idea, maybe a business, maybe you're the leader, you're a business owner, and if you're a business owner, you need to be a great communicator, be able to rally people around the idea. What are you selling? What service are you providing? And really sell it to your people first, because you need your people, your employees, your team to get that idea and to understand why they're working for you, but then sell it to the community. Hey, why do we need this service? Why do we need this product in our community, in our stores? Why am I gonna buy from you than someone else? And so you need to be a great communicator and be able to sell those things, and passionate leaders can really rally people behind or around a product or an idea. Passionate leaders are able to speak to your fears and your hesitations, and as a team leader, they can speak to those, hey, I'm not really sure about why we're going in this direction. Those passionate leaders are able to communicate very clearly to you, subside those fears or those hesitations, and lead you. And the thing about outstanding communicators is that most people what they don't realize is they're also great listeners and great learners. They're just not about talking and communication. It's not just talking. Communication also has to do with listening. It's a two-way street, okay? And so you need to, passionate leaders are very good listeners and learners. And to lead and communicate at a high level, you need to be consistently learning. If you don't listen, you can't learn, okay? So you need to, great leaders, passionate leaders are very good listeners, they're very good learners, and they try to understand their teams, the communities, their people, and they're coming up with projects and products and services and ideas. They have to listen to the community. What does the community, what does the general public need from our business? And that's listening to people, listening, hey, what's going on right now around the world? What's going on in our community? What's going on in this field? And then make a product or a service to serve people. And one way to grow as a communicator, and if you have the ability, because a large part of communicating is you speaking to people, is to record or film yourself during some kind of presentation. And maybe you have to make presentations for your job, and could be investors, it could be to your team members, it could be in a board meeting setting. Film yourself and then watch it. I hear people say all the time, I don't like watching myself on video. If you want to grow and perfect and really, really kind of hone in on those communication skills, you have to watch yourself. You're gonna pick up on little tics, little things that you might do, little things that you might say, phrases that you might repeat over and over, and sometimes that's okay, sometimes it's not. But you need to, but you're only gonna pick that up when you watch yourself. So if you have the ability, record yourself, do the presentation at home in front of a camera, and then watch it before that board meeting or that presentation. Number 4 is passionate leaders have clarity of vision. They have a very clear idea of where they are going and how they want to get there. It doesn't mean you always have the answer. It doesn't mean that you're always going to know every single thing. You're great leaders, passionate leaders surround themselves with great people, but for the most part, passionate leaders have a clarity of an overall vision. They are future focused and have the capacity to engage others to realize their goals and to bring people along with them. And clear vision is so key for any leader on any level. That if you are a leader, you need to have a clear vision of where you're going. And you might be managing 2 people. You might be managing a small department. You might be managing a large department with, 10, 20, 30, hundreds of people. But whatever it is and however many people you're leading, you need to have a clear vision of where you want to take that product, that project, or that department. And one of the primary responsibilities really of a leader is vision. But passionate leaders, they have this dialed in. It's clear, concise, and they can articulate it to others over and over and over, and you're gonna have to, as a leader, articulate it over and over and over. And if your vision is not clear, okay, and it's muddy at best to everyone else. Okay, I'm gonna say it again. If your vision isn't clear to you, it's gonna be muddy at best to everyone else. Most people will actually be just totally confused if you're not clear on their vision. So you need to have a clear vision and know where you're going to be able to lead people. Number 5, passionate leaders see opportunity in adversity. No one likes to go through adversity. No one would wake up in the morning and say, man, I can't wait to see what's gonna be against me today. No one does that, no one says that. No one likes adversity, but it's just part of life, part of business, part of just being here on this earth. We're gonna have adversity in our lives. But passionate leaders, they don't curl up in a corner and wait for the storm to blow over, hoping that it will, because chances are it doesn't. But they recognize that, hey, there might be some adversity, but what can we find an opportunity in this adversity? And you know what? Passionate leaders fail, but they recognize that failure is a part of success and embrace those challenges. Okay, no one likes adversity. No one goes looking for it, but let's be honest, adversity, it strengthens us. It makes us better, stronger, brings out our creativity and ingenuity. All right, and that's what America was built on: our ingenuity, our creativity, our passion to keep moving forward. And adversity brings out the best of that creativity and ingenuity. And so instead of sulking around in a corner, passionate leaders look for that opportunity in the midst of that adversity. So we can pretty much guarantee that things are gonna go wrong. I can guarantee at some point in your business, in your life, in your job, in your career, something is going to go wrong at some point. But passionate leaders who have a clear vision just keep moving forward and look for opportunities in the midst of that adversity. You'll probably have to, shift to the right or to the left a little, but don't allow adversity to keep you down. Number 6, passionate leaders are fueled by positive energy. This is a big deal, and you might not think about it like positive energy. What are you talking about? Passionate leaders tend to be a little bit more emotional leaders. Not all the time, but a lot of times they're a little bit emotional, and they need positive people and positive energy in their life. And I've said this before to the church that I pastor. I say it all the time. My time, I feel like, is valuable. I think your time is valuable, and everyone's time. We only have 24 hours a day, all of us. And I want to spend it around people that are going to inspire me, that are going to just energize me, and just to keep me going. I don't want to be around people in my free time that are going to drain me, that are going to just be, like I said, naysayers, that are just gonna, kind of mope around, and because it's contagious. The depressed person will depress me. I'm like, oh man, if I'm around them for too long, like in my free time, you know what I mean? It's a job and counseling. Hey, there's things that, that's different. But in my free time, my close friends, on the weekends, those people that I want to be around, I want them to fuel positive energy into my life. Passionate leaders, they surround themselves with like-minded people, and we're enriched by that collaborative relationship. So the thing about passionate leaders is they don't understand mediocrity. They don't understand good enough. So have you ever heard a person say, well, I think that's good enough? Or, you know what, that doesn't register with a passionate leader. What do you mean it's good enough? It's never gonna be good enough, is it? that doesn't mean that you're never going to be happy or never going to be fulfilled or never going to be satisfied, but it doesn't mean just because something is good, it doesn't mean that we stop. Just because it's great, it doesn't mean we stop. We can always room to grow, and there's always room to be better. And just to say, well, hey, that's just good enough. Passionate leaders, they don't get it. They don't understand it. It just doesn't be like, what do you mean? No, it's good, yeah, but how can we tweak it? How can we make this product a little bit better? How can we make it a little easier? How can we build or make this product a little bit cheaper to help our bottom line? That's the way passionate leaders think. Something in their brain just says, no, this does not compute. Good enough, doesn't work. And so they surround themselves with like-minded people that are passionate like that, because they want to be around people, surround themselves with people that think the same way. And they're fueled and even recharged by that positive energy. They want to be around other people who work like them, who dream like them. And it doesn't have to be in the same field or even in the same industry. Man, I just love being around other business people that are just passionate about their business. But I have absolutely nothing to do. I pastor a church, and I love being around small business owners that are passionate about whatever service or product that they're selling. I love it. It fuels me. It has nothing to do with what I'm doing, but just seeing them excited and passionate about what they're doing, that fuels me and it inspires me, and that positive energy flows into me and wants me to be better in my area of expertise, in my area and my job in my field. And so don't think that you just, hey, if I'm a construction worker, if I own a construction company, that I need to be around other No, you spread out. There's other passionate people in other industries and other fields, other career areas, and they can inspire you the same way. And so, all right, let's move on. Number 7. Passionate leaders have compassion. They do. Passionate leaders, they have compassion. They give for the sake of giving, okay? And expect nothing in return. Passionate leaders love to give. They are generous kinds of people. They have compassion. They see hurts. They see needs. They want to sow into nonprofits. They want to help their community. They want to help their employees that work for them. And they want to help maybe solve a need. They see someone in need. They invest into community programs that help less fortunate people. They are passionate not just about their company or business growing and succeeding, but they also want to be part of a community of people and the community in which they live in, and really help that community and pour into that community. And then they see nonprofits and different organizations helping those in need. They want to invest and they want to help and be a part of that solution. They see their city, they see their community, and they have compassion on those that might be struggling, that might be hurting, and they want to help in some way, shape, or form, be a part of that solution. And so that's just a really cool part of passionate leaders. Number 8, passionate leaders, they're resourceful. Passionate leaders are resourceful, because chances are the passionate leader doesn't start with $1 million budget when they start with their startup company. They don't start with $1 million budget when they're operating a small division or sector of their business. And so they have to be resourceful. They recognize the potential in utilizing others, people, strengths, rather than trying to be all things to all people. Passionate leaders say, hey, you're really good in this area. You're really good, in this area. And you're better in this area than me. Hey, go for it. Take this, run with it. And they don't feel like I need to be all things to all people. I need to handle everything. They're resourceful. They use their team and the people around them. I believe wholeheartedly that we must be faithful with what we have, okay? A good excuse, saying we don't have the money or we don't have this so we can't do it well, it's just not a good excuse. You use what you have, okay? I don't know how this might relate to you, but just because you can't go and spend thousands of dollars on something, a project or something that you're hoping, doesn't mean that you don't do it. And you can do it well, and just being resourceful and using what is around you, using what you have. And whatever your budget is, just make it stretch, be responsible with it, and put that money towards whatever's going to give the biggest bang for your buck. And whatever your team you have, make it work. And people will recognize the little that you're working with, and they're going to see the potential in that. And passionate leaders, they always find ways to succeed. Passionate leaders always find a way. They might fail over here, and then they're like, okay, we're gonna pivot, we're gonna turn, we're gonna take it, we're gonna perfect it, and then we're gonna succeed. And passionate leaders, they're very resourceful in how they utilize people, not use people, but utilize people. And there's a difference. Not using people, but utilizing them and their gifts, their abilities, and their talents to take their vision, because they have a clear vision, and move it forward. So they're very, very resourceful. Number 9, passionate leaders anticipate rather than react. And this is something that really comes with development as a leader. Passionate leaders are free thinkers and do not subscribe to the herd mentality. Okay, too many leaders react instead of anticipate. And that's what the herd does. The herd reacts to situations. Passionate leaders anticipate. And obviously, you can't anticipate everything that is going to happen. You just can't. The world we're living in right now, right, with coronavirus, and no one could have ever anticipated what this was going to do to our country and really our world. And so you can't anticipate everything, but obviously you can anticipate some things. And you need to start looking ahead, looking at your trends, looking at your product, looking at your services, seeing what's out there in the competition, and anticipate, hey, this is where things are going. Look and see in market shares and, just culture and where things are going. You can anticipate things in your field, in your career, that will help you and your business. But too many leaders, they just react to the markets. They react to where things are going instead of anticipating. And when you're reacting to every situation, you're not leading. You don't have time to be creative, and you're just too busy reacting to every situation, and you're just following the problems. You're going from this problem to this problem to this problem. You don't have any time to really vision and lead and be creative. So you need to learn to anticipate things. And when you anticipate, you set the course. All right? So there's a company I'm sure you've heard of called Blockbuster, and another company called Netflix. I want to tell you the story about Netflix and Blockbuster. The Netflix co-founder, Mark Randolph and Reed Hastings, they met with Blockbuster. Netflix, these co-owners were ready to sell Blockbuster, their company. So in the year 2000, they met with the Blockbuster CEOs and lawyers. This is where the .com hysteria, I'm gonna back up. So they met with these, CEOs and executives, and Netflix was wanting to sell to Blockbuster. Well, this is what their counsel, Ed Steed, said to Netflix. The .com hysteria is completely overblown. Basically, it's not gonna last. This is overkill. Well, Netflix offered Blockbuster, we'll sell you Netflix for $50 million. Now, I'm sure that sounds like a lot of money to you. It is to me too. Blockbuster not only said no, but they literally laughed at them. Laughed them right out of the room. Well, that was in 2000. In 2010, Blockbuster filed for bankruptcy. In 2014, they closed their last corporate store. And right now, only one store remains in Bend, Oregon. Blockbuster used to employ 25,000 people. Now, Netflix is worth $125 billion, yes, with a B, billion dollars. Blockbuster found themselves reacting to the market, reacting to culture, reacting to the way the world was moving into the digital realm, and they laughed at Netflix. Netflix, they anticipated and saw where this world is going, where things are headed, and they are now reaping the benefits of their ingenuity and their creativity. So don't react, anticipate. Number 10, passionate leaders take action. They're risk takers. They, execute ideas, and they don't, dwell on the past. Okay, they are men and women of action. They try to fall forward. They understand failure is going to happen, but I'd rather fail forward than sit back and do nothing, because that's a failure too. There's something about falling forward. Okay, I'm a little bit closer, didn't quite get it, we failed, but we learned some things. And when you learn some things from your failures, that's failing forward, and that's okay. And passionate leaders, they take action. Don't stand still, don't wait around, move. People will follow mover and shakers. Mover and shakers are going to fail, but that's okay. Learn from your failures and keep moving forward. Passionate leaders, number 11, passionate leaders are lifelong learners. And I talked about this. You have to be a lifelong learner. If you want to be any kind of leader and have any kind of success, you need to keep learning, reading books, podcasts, taking courses, going to conferences, being the best in your industry, and consuming as much information as you possibly can. It is only going to help you in your leadership. Passionate leaders, they remain teachable and aware of, I don't know everything, okay? And they're tuned into key trends. And they tuned into key trends because they're learners. They're watching things. Hey, seeing how things are going. And this, again, back to the point 9, helps them to anticipate things. And number 12, passionate leaders believe in themselves. Okay? They trust their gut instinct. Have you ever had that instinct, like, I think I'm supposed to do this, I think, and then maybe you don't, and you're like, oh, I knew I should have done it. They trust their gut instinct. They don't take criticism personally. They hey, how can we make things better? Bring in experts around them and help them. They have coaches to bring in and to help them. And they are undaunted by obstacles at work, in business, or life. Okay? They just believe in themselves. Again, they understand I'm not going to get it right 100% of the time. I'm just going to keep going. I'm going to believe in my life, my calling, my job, my career, my passion, and I'm going to take this business, I'm going to take this department, I'm going to take this product or service, and we are just going to run with it. Okay? So being a passionate leader, remember, it's not about loud, boisterous, over-the-top, center of the party, life of the party personality. It's about these 12 traits and leading and being self-reflective and being passionate in your pursuit of wherever you are leading people and whatever business or field you find yourself in.